Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and get started again. We're going to pick up where we left off in our last webinar. Just to kind of recap where we were. Our last webinar, we went over how to, the differences between a master and a custom package, how to set up each package. Now we're going to go into how to schedule these packages. I'm going to show you how to add them to an estimate, and then how to schedule them as a job, and then I'm going to go into how to dispatch the jobs and then complete the job. So let's go ahead and first I want to talk about how to add them to an estimate. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to simply open up an estimate real quick, and let's go here, click on estimate, and then since I'm going this route, I need to choose somebody, so I'm just going to choose someone random here. And then a document doesn't really matter because I'm not actually going to show you the document. I just want to show you how to add it to an estimate. So what I'm going to do is click on add item here. You'll notice I have a service and I have a package. So I'm going to go ahead and click on package here. And then I'm going to do the drop down. I have a couple of options here. I have packages. And if I scroll down further, I have custom packages. So the word just packages, those are your master packages. And it's going to load whatever rounds you have in that particular package. And then in custom package, it's going to be the same concept. What's the difference is when you actually go to schedule them, right? So what I'm going to do, excuse me, is go ahead and click on, I don't remember the name of the one I created the other day. So we'll just use this spring cleanup and fall cleanups, around 5 rounds. Okay, just to give you an example, right? So I'm gonna click on apply. Right, you'll notice that it adds the master package, and there are 5 different rounds. So if you remember the way I was explaining how packages are, is that each round or each line is a service that you're going to complete. So it's a visit, is the best way to think of it. So in this scenario, I have 5 rounds, or 5 visits, if you will, and this is the service that's going to be done in each one. So this one says spring cleanup, fall cleanup 1, fall cleanup 2, fall cleanup 3, fall cleanup 4. All right, and then each one has its own line where you can adjust the rate, the budget hours, costs, and things like that. So and then on the far right, you have a little paper icon. This paper icon is where you can go in and you can edit your estimate description. Now, when you're actually adding these to the estimate, there is a way to show your clients what you want to show them. And let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let me hide my panels because they're in the way. Apologize for that. I should have done that at the beginning. All right, so if I put in here spring cleanup, and then which includes up your mess. All right, so whatever, obviously you wouldn't put that, but whatever you put here, I want to show that to my customer. So I'm gonna click on apply. Anything I could change here, any rate. So let's say it's now charged by the hour, $85 an hour, and it's going to cost me $35 an hour. All right, so if I change this, or if I change it here, I click this little arrow, it copies it from that point forward. So now let's say that my fall cleanups are maybe a little bit more. So let's do $100 because they have a lot of leaves that are falling and things like that. So if I copy that down here, it's going to copy everything down in this particular column. Same thing for this one and this one and so forth. Okay. Now let's get to where I was talking about how I want to show this to the customer. All right. So I have 3 options. I can show just the package name, nothing else, with the package total. If that's the case, then what I'll do is I will leave this off. I won't print any items. So what the customer will see is whatever the description is I have set up for this. So it's the spring and fall cleanups 5 round. So here I have spring and fall cleanups. That's what my customer would see. And then they would see the $485 price. That's it. Now, if I want to show the lines, then what I'll do is I'll come in here and click on this little icon, click on print line items. All right. Then I have the 3 additional options. Excuse me, I had 4 total. So 3 additional options here, right? So here it's going to print each line and the description I have set up for each line. All right. So spring cleanup and then my fall cleanups 1 through 4 and the descriptions for those. Now, this right here is going to show me how I want to show the pricing. So if I do just package total only, it'll have the description for the overall package. It'll have the description for each line, but the price that they see is going to be just the $485. Now, if I choose this middle option, which is package item total only, they'll see the descriptions for the package and each line. Then they will also see the descriptions for each round, if you will, each line. So, example, they'll see spring cleanup $85, fall cleanup $100, fall cleanup $200, and so forth. Okay, that's package item total only. Now they'll have to do the total for everything in their head or with a calculator or whatever. And then you have the third option, which is package total and item total, which is going to show the pricing for everything along with the descriptions. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So let's say I want to show everything. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as this option here, click apply, and like I said, that customers will see everything. Now let's go ahead and add a custom package, and we're going to choose this custom package training 2.0, click apply. Here are my 3. Same concept for the packages and how you're going to show the totals and everything, exactly the same. The only difference is now you have this date. You say, what's that date for? Well, this date has to do with scheduling and the dates they're going to show. So if you're going to show the rounds, you'll notice up here, like fall cleanup 4 says it starts on 12/16/25 and ends on 12/31/25, right? So what I'm telling the customer and what they will see is fall cleanup 4 on these dates. Now, with custom packages, if you remember, I told you in setting it up that the custom packages, the dates are determined on when the customer signs up. In order for you to show dates on the custom packages, you have to tell our system on how or when you plan on scheduling this. So let's say I'm sending this out today, but I'm not anticipating starting until June 1st. So what I'll do is I'll come here and change this date to June 1st, and then it will go and change these dates based on how I had my custom package set up. So I had the first one set up that it's going to start in the first month, which will be June, on the 1st, which will be June 1st, and it's going to go for 1.5 months. So it should be, start date would be 6/1 and ending on 7/15. And then the next month I have it, or the next round I have starting in, looks like the 3rd month, and then I think I have 8 months out after that. So that's what this date field does, and it shows that changes the start and end date for each custom round. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, now as far as the pricing goes and setting it up is exactly the same as you did the master package. Okay. Now let's go ahead and jump in on how to schedule each of these. Now you can schedule from an estimate, and essentially they're done in the exact same way. Or you can go straight to a customer's account and schedule them that way. And that's how I'm going to show you. Okay. The only difference is when your customer accepts your estimate, to schedule from the estimate, you click on schedule. It will carry everything you have in the estimate over. So any pricing you have, the budget hours, and the job notes. And job notes, if you don't know, are located here next to the estimate description. So if you put something here, that's what you want that to carry over into notes for the tech doing the job. It will carry over. Okay. Let me go ahead and jump into show you the other way to schedule though. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my test account and I'm gonna go ahead and schedule from here. So what I want to do is I'm gonna go ahead and click on add a job. And here I'm gonna click on package jobs. Adding a package job is adding the master package. Now, if you're scheduling from an estimate, this same overlay pops up, so it's going to be the same thing here. So, all right, I'm going to quickly go through this. So obviously the client name is going to fill in automatically. A contract is installment billing. If you have an installment billing plan, that's going to override the pricing for this, or that installment plan includes the package jobs, then you go ahead and select that contract. So let's say it's monthly maintenance agreement is going to cover that. Okay. If not, then don't worry about it. You can leave it where it says not part of a contract. Now, the next important thing is going to be your package. The package name is going to be the actual package that you're scheduling, right? If you're scheduling from an estimate, that particular package name will automatically be filled in because that's the package you chose there. But since I'm scheduling it this way, what I want to do is come in here and choose the package that I was going to schedule. So I'm going to choose my spring and fall cleanups. And then the package renewal is when I renew the master package. We talked about that before, right? So when I set up the renewal date on the master package, this is going to set up to renew on the 1st of the next year. When I make my changes, when I renew the package, and I'm going to go over this here in just a little bit, when I renew the master package, it's going to actually schedule, or it's going to make the changes to the dates. It's going to push those dates into the master package. Then that will then affect all of the customers that have this master package. Now, with that being said, the dates will change for the master package. Then the package job needs to be renewed. That's what we're setting up here. All right, there's 3 options. One is auto renew. So you renew the package, changes the dates, pushes those to the customer level and those jobs, and then auto renew will automatically renew that job for the next year. All right, so that means that it's going to show up on the waiting list. Call to renew is that it's going to do everything I just mentioned, except for you'll have to come into each master package and manually renew that. So basically, where the save button is, it will be replaced with a button that says renew. Okay. Let's say that you have your process is to send out notifications. I'm sending out mailers or emails saying, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, this, we're starting our season. It's time to renew your services. Here's a list of what you have. If I don't hear back from you, I'm going to assume that you want to go ahead and continue on, right?" So that's one option. That's called a renew. They let you know, hey, we do want to renew with you, and then you come in here and you simply renew manually just by clicking whatever that renew button, right? So do not renew simply means that it's not going to renew. This job will never renew. It was a one-time thing, or it's a seasonal thing. They're done. They moved. They cancel services. Whatever it is, you're not going to renew with this customer. Okay, that's the 3 options. I'll tell you, when I first started with Service Autopilot, I would say 90% of the customers did call or renew. And then by the time I left, I think it was probably the other way, 90% did auto renew. So I'm going to set mine up to call or renew. The assigned resource is, if it's the same crew every single time that's going to do each round, I can go ahead and assign the resource here. on the waiting list, it will show up with the resource already assigned, and then you can go on from there. If you say, well, Brian, I don't know, it could be one crew doing the spring cleanup, it could be another crew doing fall cleanup, and so on. That's fine. You can leave it blank. It's not a required field. Okay. I'm going to choose myself here, just as giggles here. Conflict days. Now, because these dates here cover, a wide, a lot of different days. If there's a particular day that's a conflict day for either you or the customer, you can set this up to say, well, we're not going to go on Wednesdays, for example, or we're not going to do Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays. All right, we only do this particular package on these days. So if the customer says they'll come on these days, whatever it is, the scenario, right? What it does is it adds a warning on the waiting list in the form of a little icon that is a triangle with an exclamation mark. Whenever I go over that here in just a minute, we'll talk about that. Okay, so these are conflict days. And then a package discount is a global discount if you're going to discount each round, if you will. Okay, so let me go ahead and put in my pricing here, and then let's do 100 down arrow. So copy this down here. Budget hours is going to be let's do 2. Okay. So I just showed you how to use that blue arrow. Okay. Now, let's say you want to offer the first round discount. You simply click on the little percent sign here, add the discount just to this round. The package discount is a global discount. It adds a discount to all the rounds. Okay. If there's a scenario where you have a round that a customer does not need, then you can exclude that round by unchecking this box. Okay. And then when you save it, that round will simply be excluded. Now, what will not happen is the dates for the following rounds will not change because they are hard set by the master package. Okay. So once you're done, just going to click on save. And I'm sorry, let me address the schedule button here real quick. Now you'll notice that the spring cleanup went from January 1st through May 15th, which was yesterday, and now I am past that, that time frame. So the system is saying, okay, this round was supposed to happen between January 1st and May 15th. Here it is, May 16th, and you're past that round. Do you want to schedule this? Anyways, if you do, you click the schedule button and it adds it to there. Now on the waiting list, it's going to show up as missed. And I'll talk about that when I get to the waiting list because it's a pink color. That just simply means that, hey, you're past the end date, but technically you could still go ahead and do that job. All right. So let me go ahead and save. And now my master packet is scheduled for this customer. Now I want to show you how to schedule a custom package. So I'm going to click on add a job. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the waiting list job. Now there's no add custom package job here. We add it through the waiting list job. All right. So when I do that, you'll notice I have, some of the same things here: client, contract, yes or no, create a work order. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing now. However, I do have this box that says create a custom package. If I check that box, the service information goes away, the lines go away, but I can now go and select my custom package. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this custom package training 2.0, which is the one we created. And then you'll notice that my start date and end date starts today. But let's say I want to start this next month. So I'm going to go to June. You'll also notice that my dates down here change based on how I had that particular custom package set up. And then each service is still included. The pricing, the default pricing for each service is included. Same thing for the default budget hours and so forth. You'll also notice that the renew end date now says 3/1 and 26, which is the same day as the last complete by date for the last round, right? And that's it. If I were to change this out to, let's say, August, then my dates will change based on when that customer signs up. So that's what I was talking about when I was setting up the custom packages, that your dates are all determined based on when the customer actually signs up. So start date is when they sign up, and then the round dates will actually be included accordingly. All right, so let me go ahead and go back to June, and then I'm gonna go ahead and click on save, and that's it. That's how you schedule that particular job. All right, so now let's go talk about how to schedule these for the customers. So we schedule them as jobs. Now we're going to dispatch them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to scheduling, and then I'm going to go to waiting list. Master package jobs and custom package jobs are all scheduled and show up on the waiting list. Now I'm going to give you a quick crash course on how to use the waiting list we'll wait while this loads. And depending on how many jobs you have on the waiting list, and if there's no pre-filter set up, sometimes it does take a minute to load. So if this keeps working, because I do have a lot in this test account, it's the same one I used for years. So I may have a bunch of stuff out here that needs to get taken care of. There is a quick way to take care of this. So what I did was, if it's working like that, if you click this refresh and quickly click close, it stops loading. So then I can come in here and, well, of course it's not going to work this time. You could come in here and select a filter, and then it would allow you to select. There it goes. It worked that time. All right, so I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go to resources. Well, this is embarrassing. Let's do client. So then it should go ahead and load just my jobs, right? Now let me give you a quick crash course, if you will, on the waiting list. So the waiting list has all of your waiting list jobs, which are like one-time jobs that are date range specific, right? So there's two ways to filter on the dispatch board. One is by date specific, and the other is date range. Okay, so the date range jobs, which would be waiting list jobs, master packages, custom packages, are all going to be on the waiting list. Your date specific jobs are already going to be on the dispatch board. All right, so since I'm dealing with a date range, I need to adjust or pick what date I want to start looking from. Excuse me. So that's what this date field is right here. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to today, select today, hit refresh, and then it's going to show me, it's going to say, show me all jobs that are scheduled to start on or before this date. Now, I have an additional filter added here because it was going to take forever for my waiting list to load. So that's why you're only seeing 4 jobs here. Ideally, you would see more. So let's say I want to jump way out into the future. Let's go ahead and go to September, hit refresh, and then it's saying, okay, now show me all the jobs scheduled to start on or before that date. So I have all of my jobs that were scheduled to start. The start date in particular here is going to be the date in parentheses. The end date for that round is going to be the top number. So if I go out here, I have this job, for example, is scheduled to start on 8/15, which obviously it's May 16th. That's not ready yet, and scheduled in on October 15th. right? That's because I told this date right here, I changed it to the 10th of September, and it's saying show me everything scheduled to start on or before that date. And if I go back to today, it goes back to what we were looking at before. Okay, hopefully that makes perfect sense. Now these jobs here are highlighted in this pink color because my start date has come and gone. Or excuse me, my end date has come and gone. Okay. Um, they're highlighted in pink because I still have to address this. I can either go out and do the jobs, or I can just skip the jobs, or I can cancel the jobs. Okay. So let's say, for example, this first one, I am not going to do this job. All right. I missed it, missed the boat. It's come and gone. If I were to show you, if I let the screen load, there would be jobs from 2018, if you will, on there that I still have missed because, use this for training, right? So, but I'm gonna go ahead and cancel this job. So I'm gonna do hover over actions, click on cancel job, and it's saying, it gives you the warning about multi-day jobs. This isn't a multi-day job, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna go ahead and cancel the job. And what it does is simply removes it from that on the view here. That just simply means I'm canceling it. It doesn't cancel the whole package. It just cancels that particular round. We're not going to do it. These other ones, I'm going to go ahead and schedule and dispatch, right? Before I do dispatch, though, I want to address this little icon right here, which is the one I just told you about, which is a conflict. Because when I set up this particular job, this is Friday is a conflict day. So I don't want to dispatch it. Now, this is just a warning to let you know you don't want to dispatch on this date. Okay, I can dispatch it to Monday if I wanted to, but I don't want to dispatch it today. But these other jobs, I do want to go ahead and dispatch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these jobs, hover over actions, and I'm going to click on dispatch, which is going to dispatch them to whatever date is in this field. And I'm telling you that because let's say I was still back in September and I went ahead and dispatched it, it would dispatch it to that day in September. I don't want to do that, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on dispatch now, and it's going to dispatch it to today. Now let's go ahead and dispatch this other job, and I'll show you how to dispatch into a future date without changing this date here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this box, and I'm going to click on edit jobs, and then I'm going to click on move to, and then I'm going to move and dispatch it to Tuesday, the 20th. Now, let me move this out of the way real quick. So this job here is assigned to me to do. And there's also an assigned to here. If I leave this blank, this job will still be dispatched to me. If I want to dispatch it to another crew, I can go ahead and select that crew here. And for some reason, the crew thing's not loading. I don't know what's going on with that. Must be a thing going on with Service Autopilot right now. But normally you would have the option to select your crews. Okay. If the job is not assigned, the system will not allow you to dispatch it until you do assign it. Okay. So if we're blank, I will come in here and I will select the crew that I want to dispatch it to and click on update. It will dispatch it to this date and to this crew. But since it's already signed, I'm gonna go ahead and click on update. It will dispatch it to Tuesday. Okay. So the jobs are now gone from the dispatch board because I have dispatched everything that I had visible. And then if I wanted to view those on the dispatch board, I simply go to the dispatch board and I can view those jobs on that day. So let me go ahead and click on the 16th, and then you'll see the jobs that I have dispatched today. So here are the two jobs I have dispatched. They're already dispatched. They're not in any particular route order. All right. If you want to route them on the waiting list, you can, or you can route them here. We're not going to go over that particular today because that's more dispatch for training. I just wanted to show you how to dispatch the jobs, the waiting list jobs. Okay. If I go to Tuesday, let me go to Tuesday. refresh, and you'll see the job that I dispatched the other day, or today to Tuesday. So here's that other job. Okay. Now, from this point, the guys would go ahead and log in to their mobile app, and they would see the job schedule, go ahead and complete those jobs. The jobs that are, if you're not using the mobile app, you can print off your route sheets, and the guys will be able to write their times and stuff on there, and then you go ahead and complete those jobs. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to cover with master packages and custom packages, how to renew those packages. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to settings here, and then I'm going to go into packages and go into master packages, and I have master packages set up here that are expired, if you will. So the renewal date has come and gone. So let's go ahead and use this example here. And what I want to do is go ahead and click on renew package. So the package is expired. I need to click on renew package. It says you're about to renew this package. You want to continue. Click on renew. You'll notice what it does is it takes all of the dates and simply changes the date, the start date and the end date, pushes them out exactly 1 year. So this particular package was created for calendar year 2024. Now it's going to be for this year, 2025. My renewal date was 1/1/25. Now it's 1/1/26, and I click Save Changes. When I click Save Changes, it will take those jobs or those dates and will push it to the customers that have that job, right? And then if it's auto renew, those jobs at the customer level will automatically renew. They'll be on the available to view on the waiting list. The jobs that you have set up to call to renew, it'll push those changes. Then you go into those customers, click on the master package, click on the renew button, and that's it. All right, so I'm going to click on Save Changes. Now that package is good to go. Custom packages are a little bit different. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Let me look at something here real quick, see if I can come up with an example. Let me see if this customer is expired. Here's the renew package I was talking about. That's a master package. That's a master package. That's a master package. Irrigation. Nope, not a good example. Bear with me. Oh, of course not. I may not have any examples set up to show you how to renew this. Let me do this. There we are. Let's see if I can trick this. So I want to go back to January. Okay. Save. All right. So that particular. Hopefully you'll never have to do this. What I'm doing, I'm trying to manipulate that particular package to show you how to renew a custom package. So I just changed the dates to make the end date past, right? So to renew a custom package, you'll come in, so you'll go to their account, because custom packages need to be renewed, all of them need to be renewed at the customer level. So I'm going to go in here, and then I'm going to click on renew. And then it's going to say you can renew with the master custom package dates, which will go back to the dates that you really started with, or you can being like the first month that's here. Let me show you about these dates, right? This particular time frame, the first round being done on the first month, so forth, the third month and the eighth month, which then you'll change the start date, or you can add a year to the job date. So basically, I'm just going to change all of this to exactly 1 year, right? So I'm going to click on renew with master custom dates, and then I have to start my date to today, confirm, and then it will change the dates accordingly, right? And that's it. Once you're done, go ahead and click on save. You have renewed your master packages. You have renewed your custom packages. Okay, and that concludes our 2-part webinar training. So just kind of recap, we had in the first webinar, we went over what master packages and custom packages are. We gave some use cases for those, how to create them. In this webinar, we went over how to schedule those, how to dispatch those. I showed you how to use the waiting list, have a mini crash course on that, and then how to renew the packages. Packages are great tools in Service Autopilot, and it really does help with scheduling. So I'll go ahead and open up if there are any questions. If not, then we'll go ahead and conclude. Also want to include in the in chat how to sign up for a one-on-one call with Automation Invasion to see if our services that we offer are a good fit. We do offer Service Autopilot support, training, setup, configuration, just about anything in Service Autopilot we can help with, and then also marketing services as well. All right, no questions have come in, so I'm gonna go ahead and close down the webinar. Thanks for watching, and hope to speak to you soon.